We're going to do section 2 on types of viruses. Everything can be found on the portal. So how do scientists classify viruses? Viruses are so complex that there's not one way to classify them, but the main ways they are categorized or identified is if they're an RNA or DNA virus. Now, something really unique about viruses is the RNA can be double-stranded, this DNA can be single-stranded. So there's really 4 basic classifications: single-stranded RNA, double-stranded DNA, double-stranded RNA, and single-stranded DNA. Whether they have an envelope or not, so whether they're naked or they have that plasma membrane. Okay. They are also classified by their capsid shape. Are they polyhedral? Are they helical? Or are they more complex, like a bacteriophage? Okay, and then another way they can be classified is what kind of host do they infect? Is it only mammals, or is it only birds, or is it bacteria? So there's not one single way because there's so many different types of overlapping. Okay, so today we're going to concentrate on the infectious viral diseases. So I've just chosen a few. Obviously, there are thousands, but these are the most common that you'll see. Okay, so some viruses cause disease, not all. It's very rare that you have a cell or an organism that has a cell inside of it that doesn't have a virus. It's just those viruses don't cause disease. So we really just care when the viruses cause disease or are pathogenic. So some common examples are smallpox, measles, mono, flu, your general cold, warts, AIDS, HIV, Ebola. Okay, some viruses, the infection can actually lead to rapid cell division because that's the way the virus wants to replicate. So therefore, they'll start causing cancer. The one you're most familiar with is HPV, which causes cervical cancer. Like I said, most of your cells have viruses in them. You just don't even know because they don't cause symptoms or diseases. So the first one we're going to talk about is herpes virus. There's 2 different types of herpes. There's multiple types, but the 2 most common in humans are herpes simplex 1 and herpes simplex 2. Basically, 1 is oral, 2 is genital. It does have a polyhedral capsid, and it has double-stranded DNA. And just FYI, you can get 1 from 2 and 2 from 1, so use your imagination with that. Okay, and you can see the severe wart spots. That's usually when they have an outbreak, but 2/3 of the people that have herpes 1 are asymptomatic, meaning they're not going to show symptoms, which is bad because that's when they can spread. Okay, adenoviruses are what you think of as like your common cold viruses. They can cause pink eye, bronchitis. They're pretty simple viruses. They're icosahedral. Icosa means 20. Okay, so they are a polyhedral capsid, which means they have 20 sides, and they're a DNA virus. Influenza is your basically flu virus, which attacks your respiratory system. Okay, this is not the same thing as a stomach flu. That's a completely different group of viruses called a norovirus, so a completely different genus. But you can see the flu virus. Okay, it does have an envelope and it does have spikes. That's why it's so contagious. Okay, the varicella virus is your common chickenpox. There's 2 main viruses, the varicella zoster and the herpes zoster. Varicella is what you get when you're a kid. Okay, that's what it causes those chickenpox. Okay, so the virus is going to turn latent, and then it turns into herpes zoster, which we'll talk about latent on Monday or Tuesday. So once you get the chickenpox virus, it doesn't leave you. It stays actually hidden in your spine until you get older, and then it tries to leave you because you're no longer a good host, and that's when you get shingles. If you know anything about shingles, it's in elderly people. It's usually on the back because that's where the rash is going to start because that's where the virus is being hidden. Okay, so you guys probably don't have chickenpox. I've never had them because you guys had a vaccine. So when we were kids, if somebody got chickenpox, we would literally have chickenpox parties where the moms would get together, bring their kids, because the older you get, the worse the rash is. So they try to infect you on purpose. You guys don't know anything about chickenpox parties because y'all have the vaccine, but that is a true thing. It happened when we were kids. Papillomas are your warts, okay? So HPV is the most common type. So yes, these are warts, and these are on genitalia, okay? They also cause a hardening of the skin. So this is an example of a rabbit that has it, and this is a severe case of a human having warts covering all their limbs, okay? So there's like the tree man. So if you want to research him on YouTube, he's pretty cool. Third world countries don't have really a lot of cures. It's really painful to scrape them off, and they're super heavy. Okay, the most common papillomavirus that we in America care about and your generation needs to care about is human papilloma. Human papilloma is your general wart. So it's a naked virus, meaning it doesn't have an envelope. It's icosahedral.